Contact Point, the podcast that brings together specialists from TTI and our supplier colleagues from Phoenix Contact with discussion, information, and insights on the newest technologies helping the world move to an all-electric society. And now, Contact Point.
Thanks, Jim, and welcome everybody to Contact Point. I'm John Sandy from TTI, and joining me today is Guadalupe Chalas, a Senior Product Marketing Specialist from Phoenix Contact. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No, it's great to have you on. So why don't you just give us a quick overview of who Guadalupe is, a bit of your background in the industry, and what you're doing today at Phoenix Contact.
Sure. So like you said, my name is Guadalupe Chalas, and I am a Senior Marketing Specialist at Phoenix Contact. I have been in the connector industry for a little over 9 years. I started my career in mechanical design for connectors in the automotive industry. In that role, I used to design single pair Ethernet connectors for infotainment systems. Also, within that role, I had to do some testing and validation for most of the major automotive companies in the United States. And I also got into electrical design and signal integrity design for connectors. Now at Phoenix Contact, as a senior marketing specialist, I use all of that experience that I gained in my automotive days. I use it to support design for customers and also to do trainings for inside and outside sales. And I also do a lot of technology education and outreach, especially when it comes to newer technologies. And last but not least, I participate in standardization activities related to single pair Ethernet. So a little bit of everything when it comes to new technologies and high-speed connectivity technologies as well.
So how long have you been at Phoenix Contact?
I've been at Phoenix Contact a little over 2 years.
If we start talking about maybe some of the products and some of the areas, I know Phoenix Contacts are beginning much more involved in the data side of products, certainly in the Device Connect side of the business. So maybe you could give us an overview of what data means in DC land.
Yes, you said it well. So DC is device connectivity for us. We have 3-ish different market segments, and device connectivity is one of them. That's the area that I work for. And at this market segment level, data for our business refers to communications between devices that is serialized and uses protocols as opposed to just standard signaling or I/O. Currently, we group our data connectivity into 3 categories. We have connectors for inside the device, which includes our board-to-board connector offering with transmission capabilities up to 52 gigabits per second, so the higher speeds communications. We also have products for the device interface, and these would be the standardized connectors that are mounted on a PCB and allow communications to go from the devices to the outside world. And to go with that, we have cabling as well that made to these connectors. So when we say data from a DC perspective, we mean higher speeds, serialized communications, and it refers to all of the products that address this specific market application.
Okay, and I think it's an interesting area just to pause on for a second, because obviously a lot of our listeners will know Phoenix Contact from years gone by and will be very familiar with the terminal block side of the business, which was historically what device connectivity was all about. But this move into data is a big change. Is there an area specifically as we move forward, be it single pair Ethernet or even the board-to-board product, that is a particular focus for Phoenix?
Absolutely. So rather than an area of focus that I would say, I think it's more an evolution that we are going through as a company, where we have definitely been kind of leading the charge in connectivity for communications, right? With our terminal blocks, like you mentioned before. And we have come to the realization that our customers and their applications need more capabilities. And this all comes from the advent of Industry 4.0 and all of these terms that we hear in the industry. And all they mean is we want to have more data capabilities out there. We want to get more information out of our processes. So as a company that tries to stay ahead and tries to evolve with our customers, it's not that we are no longer focusing on our terminal blocks. We actually do have data connectivities using terminal blocks, but also we see the need to offer some more ruggedized products and more products with higher capabilities when it comes to data communications.
I love the word evolution there, and I can see exactly the journey you're on. So maybe we take that point and then start looking at the data connectivity side. And are there some key defining characteristics or important characteristics that are sort of leading the way the products are being developed and the direction that Phoenix Contact is taking?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we look at data connectors, these important characteristics will depend on the transmission requirements of the application. So the one thing about data connectivity is that one size does not fit all. And that's why sometimes these data connectors are standardized to ensure performance in different environments and in different configurations. So for example, I'm going to use IP or Internet Protocol. And Internet Protocol uses an Ethernet physical layer for communications, right? This physical layer can use different mediums for transmission. Copper and fiber optics are the most popular implementations that we see in the market. So if we look at transmission over copper wiring, the connectors for these applications have to be impedance optimized and shielded for reducing crosstalk and support a wide range of transmission speeds. Those would be your RJ45s or your M12 Xcode. For fiber, things are a little different, and the connectivity will depend on the required reach of communication and what type of fiber you're using. So again, it's a lot to keep in mind here and a lot of characteristics that define a data connector. So in reality, that's part of the expertise that we are trying to cultivate in-house too, is having individuals that have the ability to talk to our customers and help guide them through the process of selecting a solution that will match their application.
So if we think about Phoenix Contact and looking at the data side, I've always known Phoenix Contact as being a very innovative company. When it comes to this piece of the product range, particularly getting into the data connector side, how is Phoenix bringing that innovation to the market and to the customers?
So in the area of data communications, I think one of the many things that we are doing to innovate in the area is putting out products for single pair Ethernet. And single pair Ethernet is by far one of our latest product technologies, not only for us, but for many connector manufacturers around us. It's something that we are constantly promoting because it promises to revolutionize the data connectivity space. Now, for those of you who may not know, single pair Ethernet is an Ethernet physical layer. The difference between single pair Ethernet and standard Ethernet is that single pair Ethernet uses one single pair of contacts and wires to transmit high-speed data, as opposed to two pair of contacts or four pair of contacts. And it started in the automotive industry as a way to address connectivity within an automobile. And now it has expanded to the industrial environment and building applications as well. So it's definitely an innovative solution. And we are at the forefront of it by offering products, connectors, and cables for its implementation. And also now recently we have launched a switch as well that will help implementers out there come up with a solution for their applications.
That was a great overview and appreciate that. Talking about single pair Ethernet, if I am now in the industrial space, I'm aware that single pair Ethernet exists. Obviously, it came through from the automotive side of the business. What is the biggest impacts I'm going to see to my design and usage, for want of a better word, as I start to look at single pair Ethernet as a solution to maybe a problem I've used a different solution in the past?
So that is a loaded question and will definitely depend on what your connectivity landscape looked like before or your communication ecosystem. So I'll give you a few use cases. So let's say you have an application where you traditionally have used a field bus or standard I/O to query information from your device, and you were to switch to single pair Ethernet. Field buses don't have such high speed. Their speeds are in the kilobit per second range. Single pair Ethernet, the lowest speed is 10 megabits per second range. So that device would now be able to communicate information much faster. And when we talk about digitalization efforts, all we can highlight from those efforts is efficiency and gaining access to more information in less amount of time. So single pair Ethernet in this case would make the process of getting the data more efficient. You would have more information from your process as well, because the quicker you are collecting the data, the more data you can collect. Now, if we look at an implementation where you have fiber optics, and the reason you have fiber optics is because your transmission reach exceeds 100 meters, which is the standard reach for standard Ethernet, you could potentially switch to a copper solution where you have single pair Ethernet with extended reach up to 1 kilometer using copper. So now you wouldn't need the more expensive solution that you would have to do with fiber, and so on. So single pair Ethernet does two very important things. It extends the reach of standard Ethernet from 100 meters to 1 kilometer at lower speeds, at 10 megabit per second speeds, and it provides increased speeds for those devices that were traditionally using lower speeds via field buses and other low-speed protocols.
So if I'm designing into that sort of industrial space today, I mean, what we're saying there is there's a level of future-proofing if I go down the single pair Ethernet route. Even if my demands today, either from a speed or a distance perspective, are not maximizing single pair Ethernet today, then I'm definitely giving myself options for tomorrow. Would that be a fair comment?
It is fair and it is very accurate. And there is another reason why it's very true and accurate, and is that aside from the specifications and the reaches that we have today for single pair Ethernet, the working groups on the IEEE continue to work on increasing this reach of the technology beyond what we can see today. So for example, today we have 100 megabit per second single pair Ethernet with a reach specified at 40 meters. But there is a specification in the works that would increase this reach from 40 meters to 500 meters. So now you're not only future-proofing your application that is, let's say, 250 kilobits per second to meet 10 megabits per second, you're also future-proofing it so that it can meet 100 megabit per second at longer distances. So yes, definitely is a way to future-proof.
Okay, that's a great point for a lot of our engineers listening today who have maybe been looking for their next solution, and maybe single pair Ethernet is the answer. If we look at that product and any of the general products in the Phoenix Contact range of data solutions, what other challenges are Phoenix focusing on that make the designer's life easier, or the product more efficient, or less affected by EMI? I mean, just throwing a bunch of general questions out there. What other things are going on that the audience might want to know about?
Yes, so the one thing that you can count on from Phoenix Contact and our products is that our products are designed and manufactured to address industrial environments. And that gives our products some attributes, some robustness, and it gives the customer some assurance that when they put it into their applications, they will perform. So as an example, our RJ45 Industrial, that product line has additional grounding contacts on the side so that the product would always make contact with the chassis, even in high vibration. So we're not only addressing the standard performance of an RJ45, we are also protecting our product against EMI by making sure that it's always grounded to the chassis. Another example of how we can help address some challenges in the field is our board-to-board product offering, especially the FP0.8. It has two features that are very desirable when dealing with harsh environments. One is the shielding, again, for EMI, and also bifurcated contacts to ensure that the pin and socket are in contact at all times in spite of harsh environments.
I would certainly say, I mean, I've been dealt with Phoenix Contact for a long time here at TTI and in my previous life before, that if I'm looking at data connectivity, I'm looking at industrial type environments, I'm always thinking of Phoenix Contact as offering robust, vibration-proof, high-performance solutions. So I think that you've done a great job today of just giving us an overview of some of the newer technologies and directions that Phoenix is moving into. If I was to just sort of give you one last opportunity to talk to our listeners and just maybe identify things to be aware of in 2023 and as we move very quickly into 2024, what else should we be looking out for? What things should we be taking notice of? And what else is coming from Phoenix Contact in the near future?
Going back to the single pair Ethernet topic, we are coming up with a product that it's a hybrid. It's a separate specification. So it would be 63171-7. That may not mean a lot to a lot of people, but it is an IEC specification for single pair Ethernet. And this connector has 2 contacts for high-speed transmission and 4 contacts for power. So effectively, what it's doing is transmitting power and data within an M12 interface. I think this will help round our portfolio for single pair Ethernet in a way that it wasn't done before. And the reason I say that is because our single pair Ethernet product can support up to 52 watts of power, 4 amps, whereas this new product, because the power is decoupled from the data, it can support up to 16 amps. So this will be a product to address higher power equipment, such as robotic arms and some actuators in the field that require more power for operations. So I would say that's a new product that you will see in 2024 and that we are very excited about. Aside from that, we are working on our patch cable portfolio, and it's something that we strive to do at all times. We want to provide more solutions for our customer base, and we'll definitely continue to innovate. Last but not least, we are going to be releasing 2 switches for single pair Ethernet, one for process automation and one for standard industrial applications. So that's another thing to keep an eye out for.
That's a great way to wrap it up, Guadalupe. So lots of things to look out for from Phoenix Contact for the balance of 2023 and 2024. For our listeners, that was Guadalupe Chalas giving us a quick overview of data connectivity inside the Phoenix Contact world. Thanks very much, Guadalupe, and hope to talk to you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today on Contact Point. Keep up with the latest episodes on tti.com/podcasts.